Hi everyone, it's Darlene. Welcome to this week's card. I used this Hero Arts cute little You Rock girl. I stamped her with some Memento ink onto Nina Solar white cardstock because I'm going to be doing some Copic coloring. I tried to put the caps right there on the right hand side so you can see what colors I'm working with. For her face, I found that the best ones were 30 and 31 in the E category. And at first I was really scared to apply that dark color, but it actually works out better if you just be a little bit aggressive with it. You can always take color off, so I ended up doing it a little bit darker than the first time I did it, and I really like the way it came out. It looks pretty dark right now because the rest of her is white, but it actually blends out to look pretty good in the end. And then the next thing I'm going to do is add a little bit of a rosy cheek there, so just use an R20, just a tiny little bit, and blended it in with it, the light color for the skin. Now for the hair, I'm still sort of practicing my techniques here with the hair, and I'm not sure exactly what to do, so I'm kind of following the lines a little bit. And I'm starting with the darkest color. I'm not laying it all over light first. I'm starting with the darkest, and I'm doing the darkest at the top of the head and then at the tips of the hair, and I'm working my way towards the middle, getting lighter as I get toward the middle. And I essentially used three colors. I used this E29, which is a very, very dark color on the tips and on the top of the head, and then I started moving in with this E37, which, as you can see, is a different marker. It's actually a Chow marker because my husband got me some markers that I didn't ask for Christmas, and so I guess he didn't know what to buy, so he bought the Chow, which is fine. So it kind of gives me a little bit of experience with that. It's a different tip, which is kind of getting used to. Anyway, so I just kind of went back and forth with these three colors, drawing lines and just trying to blend them together. And I think it came out okay, but I think I still need a little bit of practice with hair. I did notice though that she had some hair that was in the front and then some that was kind of underneath her, like underneath her head in the back. So I tried to make those pieces a little bit darker. I kind of think this is fur, but I'm not sure. But I made it W. I'm going to put the caps there a second. Yeah, W1 and W5. The area was so small that I just used two colors, so I did an all over W1, and then I went back in, as you can see here, doing the W5 in the shadow areas, and then I went back with my W1 and just blended that together. So generally when there's a big area, I use 3, occasionally 4 markers. When there's a small area, I usually just use 2. So again, this vest that she has on is pretty small, so I'm just going to use 2 colors of yellow. And I also do each side separately because that way I have more time to blend. If you let it sit for a while, it doesn't blend as well. So that's why I try to work in little pieces. Okay, so moving on to her jeans here, I'm going to do my all over light color in B21. I'm going to actually add 2 more colors of blue, and these are my go-to blue colors. 3 really nice shades of blue that work really well together. This is my darkest color, it's the B26. My light is coming from the right hand side, and now I'm going to come in with some medium color. Sorry, I'm a little off camera here. I'm going back in and blending. I blend everything at the end with the light color. And I decided I want a little bit more dimension, so I went in with the darkest color and added just a little bit more touch up on the edges. Alright, next just some little areas, her shoes and her skin right there showing through. And then I realized I left a part of her hair undone there, so I just filled that in. For her headphones, I just used 2 different colors of gray, C4 and C6. Blended those together, and then to make it a little bit more of a shiny look, I took a 0, which is colorless blender, right there, and it removes color. Just sort of made it a little shiny there. And now I'm coloring her iPod. Just a bright pink color. I'm not going to do any shading, it's really, really small. I didn't like the way her headphones stamped. It just was a little bit faded, so I went back in with a marker and just went right on top of it, and I really like how it's popped out right after that. Alright, now I'm going to stamp my sentiment, which is from Paper Smooches, and I'm using VersaFine Black Onyx ink, which I find to be a really, really good ink for clear stamps, but you have to let it dry so it stays wet for a little while. Now I'm just going to use my ruler to draw some lines coming out of my sentiment and then around the cardstock. I used this graph pattern, which is a Hero Arts background stamp, and I'm using the same Memento black ink. And I wanted it to be a checkerboard, but I didn't have any stamp that was like a checkerboard. I wish I would have, because it would have been a lot easier. I went and I colored alternating squares here. And it didn't take me a huge amount of time, but it was definitely time consuming. It would have been easier if I had a stamp already prepared this way. But luckily, since I was putting my girl on top, I only had to do the right side and the left side. It didn't take really that much time. But I thought it would be cool if it was a checkerboard. Anyway, so I just marked my middle, and then I placed it down, and then I trimmed off the edge that was hanging off. And now I'm going to pop up my panel here with some foam adhesive, just some Stampin' Up! Dimensionals. Put it right on there. And then I decided that the girl looked like she was floating, and I took my C1 and grounded her a little bit right there. And that's it. Pretty clean and simple card. Hope you like it, and I will see you next week. Thanks for watching.